Perhaps some explanation is necessary when it comes to who exactly Alice Wallengard is. The Wallengard family is a prestigious family which hails from England, like us of course, but unlike us, their business is alcohol, specifically ale, and they make more of it than anyone else in the country. The Wallengards rank among the top 10 most wealthy families in all of England. About a year ago, for whatever reason, the wife of the Wallengar household decided to pay us a visit. A woman named Suzette Wallengar arrived, and close at tow was Alice Wallengar, her daughter. When we were first introduced, I was actually quite happy. Alice seemed like a very nice girl. She had a friendly, inviting smile, and was very pretty as well. However, after starting to spend time with her, I very quickly began to realize that Alice Wallengar was what you might call a wolf in sheep's clothing. Her pretty face and typically jovial attitude belied her personality, which, quite frankly, terrifies me to no end. Her favorite conversation topics tend to range around the macabre, including death, murder, the afterlife. Her favorite books tend to be murder mysteries. I think less for the mystery and more for the murder, as she tends to get pouty whenever she brings up the fact that the serial killer gets caught. Since Alice turned 5 in the Wallengard household, they have had to replace the workers there at least a dozen times. And that includes all workers, maids, butlers, cooks, even the housekeepers and lawn attendants. The stories of terror that come from the employees of the Wallengard household are well known. And each time they replace their staff, the people they replace them with demand more money in exchange for working for them. Rumors have even circulated that Alice herself is possessed by some other natural force, or that the estate itself is haunted. Since Alice turned 5, there have been 3 maids who have fallen down the stairs, resulting in 2 broken hips, 4 fractured arms, and 1 dislocated leg. There was a butler who fell down and stabbed himself with a kitchen knife, a chef who got his arm stuck in the kitchen dolly, a garden attendant who lost 2 fingers, and a myriad of other less lethal but still very unsettling accidents, if you can call them that. Alice is of course the focal point of many of the stories of these individuals. However, they also clearly state that Alice herself couldn't have possibly accomplished the task. They simply remarked that for whatever reason, she always happened to be around. Of course, these are things that I only found out after I had actually met Alice Wallengar. And since meeting her, she, for whatever reason, has decided that I am her friend, and does make regular efforts to come visit. However, despite the amount of time that I've spent with Alice, and the rumors that circulate around her, nothing ill has ever happened to me. And despite her macabre sense of taste in books and conversation, things of that nature, Alice seems to always enjoy the time she spends with me. And after a short period of adapting to her particular personality, I do have to admit that I actually like spending time with her as well. However, the number of accidents for employees of the Worthington House has increased since Alice began visiting. But once you get past the fact that every once in a while she will send shivers up your spine, Alice is quite pleasant. So as I brushed myself off, trying to clean off as much of the dirt as possible, and braced myself for whatever conversation Alice felt like having, Alice simply smiled, waving joyfully at the group of thugs as they ran away. "Goodbye! Have a better plan next time!" she shouted, before turning around to face me, her wicked grin relaxing into a calm smile that she usually carried. You know, you really need to start flexing that muscle of yours, Reginald. Otherwise, you'll get out of shape, Alice remarked, calmly approaching. I don't know if you noticed this, Alice, but muscle is not something that I really have, I said, brushing off the last of the dirt that I could easily see. No, not those muscles. The one up here, smarty pants, she said, gesturing, pointing at my head. Those guys may be big, but you're smart. Use it. I took a deep breath in preparation, preparing myself before replying. And how exactly do you suggest I do that, Alice? Well, Alice replied, you could set a trap. Go find yourself a little bear trap out in the woods, drag it somewhere nearby, cover it with some leaves, and when those boys come through to mess with you, snap, she shouted. It'd be pretty hard to pick a fight with you with a peg leg, she said, giggling. I don't think that plan is as realistic as you believe it is, Alice, I replied. Of course it's not, silly. I was just joking, Alice said. A pitfall with spikes would be much better. That way, when they fall in, all you have to do is cover it with some dirt, and voila, they're gone. Yeah, Alice, except for the problems of where do I find the shovel? When do I have time to dig the hole? And what are people going to say when they suddenly follow me somewhere and I'm the only one who comes back? Alice raised her hand, flicking my earlobe. It stung a bit. Ouch, I said. What was that for? I replied. Don't be a party pooper. Instead of trying to find a way that it won't work, how about you think of a way that it could? Be positive, Alice said with a smile. Well, I would ask how you were doing, but I think this situation speaks for itself. And that right there is what I get for flexing that muscle you say I should work out more. I suppose it comes with the territory, I guess, I said, looking past the tree line to the lights still glowing in the garden section. So are you going to return to the party? Alice asked. I sighed, checked my hair for dirt and dust, grass, things like that, before replying, no, I think I'm gonna stay here for a while. I kind of feel like being alone, I said, turning around and taking a seat in the grass, looking at the brook and the water passing by slowly. Alice strolled up, sitting gently beside me, saying, oh, that's good. I wanted to be alone too. Now we can be alone together. I chuckled a bit. It was funny. I don't really think that's how it works, but I'll just go with you on it, I replied, still trying to contain a little bit of a chuckle. So, me and Alice sat there for a few minutes, calmly watching the brook, seeing the water slowly rush around the small circular rocks that decorated it, occasionally seeing a small fish swim by. Alice sat calmly beside me, humming a little tune to herself, always jovial. I swear, despite her different personality, I do envy her general happiness, I suppose. She wore a smile as if nothing could ever rip it off, as if there were no force in this world strong enough to tear her away from her sense of self-joy and happiness. And at least that much I envied. Meanwhile, I myself rarely found an occasion to genuinely smile. Sure, I would smile out of etiquette, to be polite, to feign a joy or joyful nature for others. But rarely was the smile or the joy I exuded ever true. It was simply a performance, part of maintaining image for the Worthington household. I often wish I had the power to change things, the power to do something different, the power to actually do something about the unpleasant things in my life, such as Beckett Sanderson. And just like that, I was reminded again of the man in the pinstripe